Yeah?
Yeah.
So Graham's going to share with you guys just something that's happened recently on a tour.
Yeah. So 2 days ago tour, and it was a weird kind of tour, our special weekend that we do. And the tour always ends, it goes through the house, the Carriage house, to Madison Square. So I was letting everyone out here, they're going to the sidewalk, and I thought that someone stayed behind upstairs, because I heard footsteps walking around upstairs. So I went up there to double check and there was no one. And that was really cool to me. So I ran out and I told everybody on my tour that it just happened, like as soon as everyone walked out. And this one girl started freaking out. She was like crying and going insane. Because she said while we were up there, she saw what she said was a shadowy woman walking up the stairs. And she kind of just blew it off and didn't say anything. And then a few minutes later, she looked back at the stairs and she said she saw a shadowy woman again crawling up the stairs. So she started losing it when I said that. So that was cool.
We love that stuff. Yeah, and just now I was sitting at the podium when I was checking you guys in, and I think you saw me do it. I heard Devin had come up next to me, and I heard her say my name. I heard her say Annie, and I turned like that, and I said, huh? And then I looked at Graham because he had seen me do that. Nobody was standing there, and he even acknowledged her. So that's just some recent stuff you guys going to.
I think I saw a pebble get thrown at somebody outside in the little courtyard.
I had a pebble fall right behind me.
Yeah.
Wait, just now? That was the same incident?
Yeah. I think you were sitting there. Yeah, and I didn't say anything. She told me. I was like, something just flew down.
Flew down from like up in the
From above. I think it came from above and it landed right behind the bench.
It literally like dropped like right behind my shoulder.
Okay. Well, nobody else is here but us, and they haven't been as I've been checking you guys in. So interesting. Yeah. Janie, you just finished 2 tours. Do you have anything to prepare us for?
Yeah. Hi. So early the 6:30 tour, we were in a particular room. I'm not really spoiling anything. It was used basically as a laundry room. And before I could say anything about that, I had one person speak up and said she smelled soap, and the other person in the back said that she smelled a floral detergent. Those are kind of common. So that was really neat that I had 2 people who were picking up on different scents in the same room, but both are common reportings. So that was really neat. If I want to pay attention to what you're smelling in that room. That was the main thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Super.
Yeah.
Thanks, Janie.
Cool. Thank you.
So I want to go ahead and go over this equipment, pass it out to our team. First up is a walkie-talkie. This is just so we are all connected for the night. Like I said, this is how you're going to know when to rotate to a new location. I'll come on the walkie. It'll probably scare you at first. It's not my intention, I promise. But I have one. Miss Devin has one. So if you guys need anything at any point, meaning if anybody needs to break it off for any reason, just let us know. Either Devin or I can come get you. If you're getting activity, some people like to announce it on these. That's super fun, so everybody knows that that's happening. However, it is going to interfere with somebody else if they are getting something at the same time. So just to let us know at the end of the night what had happened for you. So here's one per team. They are already on, ready to go, and they have little clippies. You can clip it right to you if you'd like. Flashlights. Everybody gets a flashlight. Each team gets a flashlight, and this is obviously for safety. All right, there's steps and stairs in both the carriage house and the mansion you'll be utilizing. There's different surfaces you're walking on. Be careful, folks, as you are moving around the property. When you use the flashlight for that, you probably just want to shine it down so you're not shining it in everybody's eyes. But you can also use these as a tool for investigating. I don't know if you folks have seen this before on the television shows at all, but here's an idea. Maybe you turn it on, right? Maybe you loosen the back a little bit. Some like to do that, some don't. The idea is that you're making it easier to be manipulated. Then you can lie it down, ask Spirit to turn it off, right? Maybe leave it off, ask them to turn it on. I've had people say, can you roll it away from me? Can you roll it towards me? Things like that. We do get a lot of activity with the flashlights, mostly up in the carriage house and in the lower level. Try it in the parlors if you'd like. It's just that I don't hear it happening as much in the parlors for whatever reason.
They're partying.
They're partying. They're too busy, yeah. I recently had somebody tell me they theorized it was because the enslaved people would be at the carriage house in the lower level, but not so much in the parlors, and that was kind of the common denominator they saw. So that was kind of interesting. Maybe if you get some activity with it, you can ask were you a slave, and kind of go from there. So each team gets one of these. Here you are, whoever wants it.
Thank you.
And the reason I'm saying things like, these are all suggestions and you can decide if you want to loosen it or not. There's really no like step 1, step 2, you gotta go. So I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what different people do, and you can kind of try to see what you like and what works for you. Each investigator is a little different in their tactics. This right here, has anybody seen it before? Yeah? Yeah, some? This is called a K2. It's measuring basically energy, all right? Now, it's not a ghost meter, right? Meaning just because it goes off doesn't guarantee there's a ghost there with you. Maybe. But here's what you can do to be sure. Now, the green light's on, you can see. That means the device is on, it's ready to go. The more energy it detects, be it electrical or whatnot, it's going to light up more. All right? And the more it lights up, it's going to have different colors as it goes. And because it's picking up on electrical and everything like that, what you can do to be sure of paranormal activity is get a baseline reading. All right? So, if you're standing there holding it, or maybe you have it set down. You don't want to shake it around. You want to keep it still. Maybe you ask a question, all right, or make a statement that you think will elicit a response. You want to watch and see if it goes all the way up, all the way back down, usually pretty quickly, okay? Because if you have it and it's maybe at the second or third light and it's staying there, it's constant at that point, that's going to be your baseline reading. Because maybe that energy is coming from somewhere that can be explained naturally, whereas if it spikes all the way up, all the way back down, then you ask yourself, why would it suddenly detect that much more energy? And that's where we get into scientifically unexplained, which is the paranormal, right? Now, I want to give each team 2 of these, because something you can try that we have had before is we had a team who put it on either end of the room, okay? They knew the baseline, they knew what was happening. One of them, though, started to fluctuate. And they said, okay, they said, I see you over there, but can you leave that one and go to this one across the room? And sure enough, this one quit fluctuating, the other one started to. Which to me, I was like, I can't explain that. I thought that was pretty cool. So you can try things like that. I've had people sit them in chairs, ask her to have a seat. I've had people sit it down and ask her to knock it off the table. That hasn't worked yet, but you can certainly give that a try if you'd like. Now, any questions on those? Stop me at any point, guys, because I know this is a lot of information with all the history, paranormal, and equipment. So just let me know if you need something repeated or have any questions. Now, everybody has phones, right?
Yeah.
So, your phones are going to set those off. And they're going to set these off, so what you want to do is put them in airplane mode. You can still use it for investigating, take some pictures, record audio, video, whatever you want to do, but you do want that in airplane mode.
Oh, that's my phone.
You're like, I'm here. Now, when you're using your phones tonight, taking pictures is a good idea because, we've had people capture strange images. When you are looking to capture something paranormal in a photo, I highly recommend that you take 3 pictures at once, back to back to back. Like a burst mode, live photo, something of that nature. That way, you have a baseline reading. If something strange is in one photo, not in the others, that really is going to further solidify that you do have something strange, right? So take 3 at once. You can record a video, then you get the visual with the audio. And have you guys ever heard of an EVP before? Kind of. Oh my God, everybody. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of investigators record the audio. They're asking questions, and then sometimes a question is answered, and they hear it later when they play back the audio, right? So take some audio recordings tonight. I do have something that could potentially aid you in your auditory evidence. This right here is called a ghost box, spirit box, voice box, all the same thing. What it is basically a radio, all right? And the theory, the idea, is that we are going to establish an energy source for the spirits to use to come through to communicate. So essentially, you will communicate with them in real time, all right? Now, it's going to create some white noise for you to do that with. So remember your car radio, you press seek, right? It goes through the station until it finds one, it stops, and that's what you listen to. kind of what we're going to do here, but we're not stopping on a station, right? So there's two buttons you have to worry about. Number one is the power button. So turn it on. Number two is sweep reverse, okay? So sweep like seek. That's how you can remember. And you can hear it going through the different stations. Now, when you press a button on this device, you're going to have to press it, hold it, the device will react, and then you can release the button, okay? And it'll keep going like this. Now, you hear that a little bit. It is radio stations, so you will hear things like that. The little like, oh, look, oh, different things come through from the stations. When it's something more paranormal in nature, you're going to know. There is a distinction. I've had different people describe it to me different ways, but one way you will know is I've had people agree that the vocalization of the spirit, okay, so their words, their phrases, go past one radio station. So it's going to elongate past one little click over. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, and I've also had a lot of people agree that their voice seems to overlay the stations instead of sounding as though it's coming through the stations. All right, so there is a distinction. What you can do, though, is you can set this to go. You can turn it over. The speaker is on the back. You know, maybe set it down, put your phone next to it, record the audio. Right? That way, if you hear something, you can listen to it again to be sure. So these are really fun devices. Take a look at these. Make sure that you understand how these work. There you go. Yeah. Everybody good? Yeah. So the equipment you have in your hands is what you're in charge of for the night. Right? That's what you're going to take with you as you're moving around the property. That's what you'll turn back into me at the end of the night. I do have these two items for you to utilize as well. These items will be stationary items, so we're going to set them up for you, and then we'll leave them where they're set up, because otherwise we'd have to recalibrate it every time we moved it. This one right here has a digital temperature display at the top, right, which I feel like should say 100 right now. Right here says EMF sensor, so it's basically like your little K2 right here built in, all right, and it has lights on either side of those words that are going to flash blue when it detects energy, right? The bottom set of lights is measuring vibration. So stomp your foot, somebody. See? Now, has anybody heard of that technique where people are saying, you know, can you knock back, or they'll do the, wait for the 2 bits? Yeah, I've got the 2 bits before it's freaking open. But you can try that, and maybe, you know, what if you don't hear the response, but you see it? You know, it's never happened, but just an idea if you wanted to try it. So you can do things like that. We're going to put this in an area where we have a lot of reports of footsteps. So if you're hearing the footsteps, maybe check out the device. Also with the temperature up here, I've had guests who will ask Spirit to put the temperature at a certain degree, a certain decimal, and they're reporting that it does react. So you can try that as well, see if that gets any activity. This one right here, we have 3 of. So there is one in each area for you tonight as you're moving around. This has its own energy field around the antenna, and when you break that field, it lets you know through lights and sound. Which is kind of creepy when you're in a dark room and that's what you hear.
Yeah, that is going to scare me. I'm going to tell you right now.
And you can see it's reacting in relation to how close I am to the antenna. Now this device, we've had nights where none of them go off. We've had nights where all of them go off. It seems to kind of be hit or miss. We went for quite some time without them going off at all. And so we said, let's think of something else to bring into the event. For whatever reason, the spirits don't like this anymore. And the same week we had that thought, every investigation, they all went off. And we were saying, okay, never mind. They must still like them. If your style of investigating tonight is going to be more detail or technical, maybe this is something you want to try to get activity with, because we have had success with people asking, can you get closer to the antenna? Can you back away from the device? On the count of 3, can you make it go blue or green, or specific things like that? So you can always try that with this device as well. Now, is there any questions on any of the equipment? No? You guys ready to go inside?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, right this way. Folks, we're going straight back to this room and gathering around this wooden table in here. Who's first?
Where?
Straight back, yeah, around the wooden table.
This one? Oh, yeah.
All right, welcome inside. This is a 10,000 square foot Greek revival mansion that we're standing in now. That doesn't include the wine cellar and the carriage house over here. We will not be covering every single square inch of the property. We do have plenty of space to cover though. Now, a lot of times when a place is haunted, people go to a location, they're starting to have experiences, the first thing they do is say, why? Who's here? Why is this happening? And so to answer that question, they refer to history, right? They look up what happened there and who lived there and who died there. And more often than not, the history of the location tends to be more tragic in nature, right? Such is the case for this house as well. This house was first inhabited by a Mr. Francis Sorrel and his wife Matilda. And they had this home built in 1838. But in March 27th of 1860, the family experienced a major tragedy. And it was a day where Matilda Sorrel, the lady of the house, goes to look for Molly. Now, the Sorrel family would have had about 9 to 15 enslaved people at this time. And you're going to go on the top level of the carriage house tonight to investigate. And that area was the communal living space for those 9 to 15 enslaved people. Now, Molly had her own private room, though, off to the side, and she was head housemaid out of the enslaved. So that means she had more responsibility, she was more in charge, and because of that, she's usually around for whatever Matilda needs. Okay, but this day Matilda can't find her. This is super strange. She exhausts her efforts searching in the mansion. She goes to Molly's room. She does find Molly. Unfortunately, though, she also finds her husband Francis forcing himself upon Molly. She's devastated by this. She comes back to the house here, 2 floors above where we are now, to the balcony on this side over the courtyard. She goes over that railing, landing in the courtyard below head first. Now, Matilda did meet her demise right out here that very day. 2 weeks later, the family is looking for Molly again. They find her in her room. This time, she is hung from the rafters. There is mystery surrounding both of these deaths. Okay? We have heard Matilda was pushed, she jumped, she fainted. What we know for a fact is that in a local cemetery in Savannah is the Sorrel family crypt. Outside of that crypt is Matilda. She's not buried with her family. At the time, this typically would indicate it was a suicide death. Okay? Molly's death even more mysterious because it was extremely less documented. We'll never be sure what exactly happened to Molly. But most do believe that those spirits of Matilda and Molly still remain here amongst the rest. The first evidence of that came from Sci-Fi Channel's Ghost Hunters in 2005 when they were here. And many more since then, and to this day. Actually earlier today, when I got to work, they were doing history tours on the property. And there was a young lady here from England, and she claimed to be a medium. And she took me around the property to explain to me what she was getting everywhere. And she picked up on Molly and Matilda, and that was quite fascinating. So to this day, people are still experiencing both of these women. Now, you are more than welcome to reach out to either Molly or Matilda or both of them. Do, however, keep in mind that what we've just covered, be it rape, suicide, murder, or slavery, is nothing to take lightheartedly or to make jokes about. I think we can all agree on that. So do feel free to reach out to them, but do keep in mind their tragic pasts. But right here in this area, we started down here. because of this breezeway. Okay? This breezeway is home to one of our most famous spirits, and this man is seen quite a bit. He's seen both visually and in photograph form. And when I started working here, they said he was seen pacing up and down the breezeway. Right? That was 2 years ago. And that still happens, but more often lately, I'm hearing that he's seen darting around back here. Okay, just kind of moving quickly. And even more recently, I've heard that he's been seen standing between the staircase and the breezeway in this area. Now, folks, if you do walk over there, there is a pipe. Okay, so do be careful of the pipe in that area back there. But maybe you want to take some pictures and maybe reach out to him. He is always described the same way, being abnormally tall with indistinguishable features. So we call him Shadow Man because he looks like a third-dimensional shadow walking around down here. Now, we put this chair back here because many people wanted to come just for Shadow Man. He's been here quite some time. A lot of people know about him. So we put the chair over there. That's not antique. You can sit in that chair tonight if you so choose. We have had many reports come from that back corner, come from that chair. People are saying they feel a pressure on their chest. They feel like they're being watched. I gave a tour recently where I was the last one downstairs after my tour had already gathered down here. And a man approached me and he said, "What's with the chair over there?" And I said, I do plan to tell you, but why are you asking me this now? He said, when I got down here, I heard as if somebody sat down or got up. He didn't know what it was yet over there, but he heard that creaking noise. So he walked over here only to discover that this area was entirely vacant. So he was already asking about that chair. People are hearing strange things and sensing strange things over there. More extreme case, I had a gentleman who quickly exited after he had sit over here by himself in the dark, and he reported that he felt as if every emotion he'd ever experienced came rushing upon him at once while he was sitting over here. So like I said, more extreme case, but if anybody needs a friend, you certainly are welcome to hang out with Shadow Man back down there. Now down here in this area would have been exclusively for the enslaved. Alright, so during the time of the Sorrels, we had the kitchen area over here, main kitchen area where we are now. I do want to take you through the back 2 rooms as well. But maybe when you're down here, that's kind of who you want to focus on talking to, aside from Shadow Man, would be the enslaved people. Matilda would have never come down here. So if you're looking for her, you might want to look upstairs. But for now, folks, you can head straight back, pull those doors towards us, and step inside that room there. Somebody's take 2. So this area, this room, is what we call the leaded room. Not too spooky sounding. This is the room Miss Jamie was telling you about before strange things. Now this room, there is 2 main reports that stand out. One of them is a feeling. So many people crossing that threshold, stepping inside this room, and saying they feel as though the atmosphere is heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy is always the word that I'm hearing. Also from this room, the second thing that we hear a lot is strange pictures. People are capturing strange images in here. For example, we have a photo of a lady standing in that corner when nobody was in the room, as attested to by about 25 guests on a tour. We also have a series of photos in this area that follow a tour guide, and it shows the strange lights in the photo that we were unable to duplicate. So various things like that. And any evidence, folks, that I'm referencing to you, I'm going to tell you at the end of the night how you can access for yourselves. But maybe in this room, I'm going to try to take some pictures. Now, the room behind me, this room is my favorite room of the mansion. Maybe yours too. Yeah. This room is many people's favorite room of the mansion. Before we enter, I do have to ask if anybody is wearing earrings. Yeah? Okay. If you value them, meaning if they were your grandmother's, if they were super expensive, you might want to pocket them before we continue to that room. Reason being, when I was hired here, and they were telling me, what to tell everybody, what happens here, what paranormal things people experience. They told me, they said, you have to take your earrings out, tell your guests to take their earrings out, because one may go flying across the room
took the left one out. I'm gonna go in there.
So this room, the reason that it's my favorite is because it is the most physically active room of the mansion. Right? So we get many reports from many different guests on tours or investigations. Excuse me. And they range. You know, people are experiencing all kinds of things in this room, hearing things, seeing things, feeling things. Most of the reports, though, that we get from this area are more physical. So people feeling touched, feeling their shirt tugged on, hair pulled, jewelry played with, things like that. So in this room, you definitely have a lot of different options of things to try. What I do want to point out to you is this chair right here and the chair to that desk. Okay, because these two are the pieces of furniture in the lower level that we cannot sit on. So be aware of that. You know, there's an antenna in that, so that's not going to be a good time for anybody. The chair to this desk is going to break if you try to sit in it, so that's no fun either. But both chairs are known to move by themselves in this area. Now, the sofa in the back corner, I do invite you at some point tonight to have a seat on. That sofa is not comfortable. Okay, you're not going to sit there and have a great time being comfortable. However, the reason it remains in the museum is because of how many people have had experiences on that sofa. We've even had people come take the tour again, they have told me, because of that sofa. So people are sitting there, they're feeling touched, they're feeling like somebody sat next to them, and they turn and look to address who it was, nobody's there. On an investigation once, we had 3 ladies down here investigating, okay? And one of them sat on that sofa, and she felt as though someone grabbed her arm and was pulling her up off the sofa. And it was so intense for her, she got up, and then she felt there was a temperature difference where she thought someone had touched her as opposed to the rest of her arm. It was colder where she had been grabbed. And she had her 2 teammates at that time also feel and note that temperature difference. Now also in this room, we have a very special spirit, one of our favorites, and her name is Sarah. She likes to play, right? So Sarah's a little girl in here. She plays hide and seek. She has the advantage, but it's definitely fun. We've had a lot of interaction with her. We've had flashlights go out when people ask if she wants to play. My favorite was during an investigation, we had a lady with a spirit box, okay? So that's the radio one. And she was walking around this room playing hide and seek with Sarah. And she comes over here next to the table and she pauses. And when she did, on the spirit box came a little girl's voice that said, "You found me," which I thought was great. Yeah, we've had people come in here, cover their eyes, count down from 10, have a seat on the sofa. And that happened actually during Janie's tour one time. Somebody did that, and the spring in the sofa popped up. And it was strange to us because we asked all the other tour guides, and nobody had ever said that had happened during their tour. So that was kind of neat. People feel as though their feet and ankles get grabbed, getting touched, their lower calves, things like that. We like to attribute that to be Sarah. You know, maybe it's Sarah and she's finding you, and that's how she's telling you she's found you, perhaps. So Sarah's definitely fun if you want to spend some time in this room while you're in the lower level. The reason that this room tends to be so haunted, a lot of people, again, attribute that to its history. This room was a little bit different. This room was used before the Civil War as a surgery. Okay, it was the surgery of Dr. Frank Sorrel. So he was the son of Francis. And he was very good at what he did, but he specialized in trauma surgeries. And what that means is he's digging bullets out of people, he's dealing with broken bones, which leads to amputations at the time. And I have had people on my tours come into the room and say they feel as though a limb of theirs has gone numb. That's happening pretty regularly in recent months. So we think, maybe that's because of the amputations. We have had little evidence to support the theory that Dr. Frank himself still remains in the room, but many think that his patients are still around here. So maybe you could try to talk to them when you're in this room. Now, is there anything you guys want to know more about on the lower level? Any questions about history or paranormal at all before we go upstairs?
Are we allowed to open those doors?
You are not. Actually, a lot of them are nailed shut anyways. But back there would have been another breezeway like it is over there. The reason it's closed off, is because we're trying to get that back to how it used to be. It would have been used by Dr. Frank, mostly. He was operating in this room. He would have, kind of pushed his patients back there. We have heard, too, in the past couple of weeks of people hearing as if somebody is knocking. I myself, I think you have, too, heard the knocking. But people have been saying that. People have been saying I think there was a report recently, too, where the door was shaking. Whose door was that?
That was on like a bunch of mine.
Really?
Actually, that was on like 6 or 7.
Which door was it?
The one way back in that corner.
It was just shaking by itself?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they're excited that we're working back there, and maybe they're ready for us to get back there. But yeah, that's what that would have been used for. Any other questions?
Has anything came home with people, like spirits?
No. So a lot of people do ask me that. I think the spirits remain here because they like it. We try to treat them well, and we definitely give them attention. But the Ghost Hunters crew, for example, they have stated that nobody has ever reported being followed home in their crew. Even I think it can happen. I think it's unusual. If that is a real concern, of yours, when you leave tonight, when you go past that gate, why don't you say to the spirit, you are not welcome to come with me. You have to stay here. I definitely have had people do that before, just for good measure, just to make sure. We want them, we'll take them. Yeah, anything else?
I had a brief K2 hit.
Yeah?
It happened, it hit red for that's it. Gone.
What were we talking about? Anything at the time, or were you thinking of?
I was just looking at this meter. I
I was wondering honestly if it was when I was talking about Sarah.
Maybe it was.
Might have been. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because we didn't have the K2s go off in the lower level, like hardly at all. Mm-hmm. And then when I was running an investigation recently, these people were sitting on the sofa. They had the K2 next to them, and they were talking to Sarah, and it was lighting up a lot. Mm-hmm. And they thought, oh, this must be usual. They told me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this never happened.
It hit the orange. I haven't seen it no sense.
Cool. Maybe you'll have to try to talk to Sarah when you come back.
Well.
Yeah. All right, folks, I do want to show you the parlors, so if you'll push those doors, I'll meet you in that room and take us upstairs together. It's a real experience.
Wait, really? So if I want to get out, where's the next
So this would have been the main entrance. When you come to visit the Sorrel family, you'd have entered through the front door right there. Downstairs we talked about how that was the working parts of the home. This up here was the entertaining parts of the home. So this is where the Sorrel family would have been. Now, you may have noticed, or maybe you didn't, but either way, there is a chain on the dining room that we walked past. There is a chain on the steps up here. So those are some of the areas that we are unable to access every other tour and every other guest. But this area here, I've got the door open to that room. That was the study. So that's where Francis Sorrel would have held his business meetings and met with clients and arrangements in there. We don't get very much activity from that room, honestly. We do have reports of activity here and there. It seems to be mostly inconsistent, kind of few and far between. So you are welcome to go in that room tonight. Maybe you can give me something to share with the next group. I just don't have anything recent or outstanding to share with you now. This area here, the foyer, and the parlors are kind of the main areas for activity on the main floor. Up here, this is where we're getting a lot of the footsteps. People are hearing people walking up and down the stairs, walking in this area. We've had reports of people hearing heels from upstairs, things like that. We do have a caretaker on site occasionally, so if you hear anything from up there, just let me know and we'll figure it out and see what's going on. So we're in the clear for that. But in this area, I've also had a strange report that I've heard several times of people hearing as though a bowling ball is rolling down the hall here. And that doesn't make any sense to me rationally, but I have heard it several times and I've captured it from the audio on the cameras. So if you're hearing that, you're not crazy, just let me know. But I'm going to leave this device on the stairs here, and we're going to enter the parlors. This is going to calibrate for just a second, and we'll head straight this way.
Would you like to be on?
No. Aw.
Really?
It's the full experience. You got to immerse yourself. So the parlor rooms here, the furniture is off limits. A lot of it is antique, or all of it is antique, but a lot of it is fragile, especially the backs and the legs, things like that. So we're unable to sit on the furniture in these rooms. Do, if you'd like, have a seat on the rug. A lot of people do that, or kind of sit in a circle and, do some audio recordings or use a spirit box, something of that nature. So you're welcome to do that. Now, these rooms here, I mentioned it earlier, these rooms were the party rooms, right? So the Sorrels were known for their parties. They throw massive parties. Everybody would come, and they'd have a table stretching both rooms, all kinds of food. People would feast, that's removed, and then a band is set up. Most likely right here. We've placed this piano. Now the band would play, people would dance on the same floors that we're standing on now. And after the dancing, the night is wearing on, they have the furniture brought back in the rooms. And this is where it gets interesting, because then they would gender divide. So they'd have the men in this room here, this is the gentleman's parlor room, and the ladies over there. Now the men in here, more than likely, they are smoking cigars, drinking brandy, talking politics, discussing business. The ladies over there, some think they were sipping tea, talking life in Savannah. Some believe they're smoking and drinking over there, talking about the men in here. I don't know, you can decide. But that's where it gets fun when you're investigating, because like we said earlier, a lot of it is tragic and sad even. But in here, these are the party rooms. So when you're here, you are in a paranormal party. Now, we have a lot of evidence to support the idea that these parties are continuing. People are hearing things, clinking of glass, singing, humming, music being played. This piano is off limits not only for its historical integrity, but because one of the main reports we get from this room is hearing piano keys being played. Now that was happening long before we placed the piano up here, but ever since we have, it has been happening more. And it's been different times. Graham, you were doing a tour once where people were in that room, right? And you heard it from this room, and so did some of your guests, but not all of them. And then nobody was over here near the piano, so nobody was playing it. Did I get that correct?
Yeah.
Cool. So maybe ask me to play. Is anybody a musician? Yeah? So I have a personal theory. It's not based on very much, but I have a personal theory that it reacts better or more when it is a musician asking. So maybe you can try if you want to, especially see if they'll play a piano key or listen up for that. But in these rooms, mostly auditory, so maybe do some of those audio recordings or spirit box, take some pictures in these rooms, and give that a try. Now, one quick note before we divide up and start investigating. This is an old house, right? There's no way around it. So whoever's down there and whoever is up here, there is some level of being able to hear. So maybe just keep that in mind. Maybe when you're up here, you don't want to stomp. Maybe you don't want to shout, things like that. So we can be courteous of everybody else as well. But is there any last questions, comments, or concerns before we begin? No? Ready? Yeah? So let's do this. 4. Do you want to start up here in the parlors? Perfect. So everybody else, we're gonna make our way back down the stairs where we came from and divide from there.
Wait, so if we want to, like, if we just really
Fun. I mean, you can. You're not locked in, but give it a try. It's fun.
one.
Plus, this is fun. It's more. Oh, no, go for it. Yeah, yeah. It might be kind of hard. It's a little bit, but you can do it. One more floor.
Is that a picture of her?
In here it is, yeah.
That's a baby.
It's okay. If you are
Like too freaked out, like pretty much all the lights are gonna be off, but the benches where we were sitting when we very first started outside, those lights are gonna be on, so you're free to go out there if you need to.
come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's okay, we got a bright ass light right there.
Alright, take care.
No, you don't play.
No, you don't play it.
No.
Let me go on here for the first round.
You're not on it already?
Oh, I heard something. Yeah, I know.
Alright, we're starting.
I turned it on, but like,
Wow. Did you press sweet?
yeah. Yo, put the thing right here next to this, mental
I'll put this. Can you put this?
You wanna put it right here? Yeah. What was that?
Until they were here, can you please say something so we know that ghosts are real? My name is James, naturally. You guys want to follow my Instagram?
Did you guys enjoy the parties in here? You like to party? Do you guys have a favorite song?
Here.
Let's go crazy, crazy, crazy tonight.
Yeah, let's take a picture.
You guys are treating it like it's a joke. My name
Yeah,
is
it's not a
Sam.
joke.
What's your name?
I'm just not scared. Alright guys, hold up. Oh, dang, I have a flash on. Yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to have a flash on or not.
There's flashlights. What's your name?
Alright, I'm gonna have patience for this. So, what are our,
Put the back facing out.
instructions that this one?
There's bugs in here. Where's the parlor? Is it through that door?
She said that you can open it. You can open it. supposed to do?
Everything's good here, I don't know why it's going on.
Okay. So everyone's just doing that? Should I sit on this couch?
Hey guys, everybody okay?
Hello? Okay. They all go. Uh-oh. I don't want to go upstairs now. Why are you guys leaving this?
They wanted to leave.
Okay.
So that's a walk with y'all.
That was weird. What? I just want something. When I started to walk away from my standing with people, there's only people. You know what people say? So, they told me to sit on the couch. Yeah. I was like, I saw a cockroach. Sarah, do you want to sit in the chair? If you're here. I'm not feeling scared of you. Sarah, I heard you like to play hide and seek. Do you want to play with us? Can you make the lights on this thing in my hand move? That's the worst. Yeah, we have it worse. I knew we were getting down here first. We're showing up these lights. Is there anybody in this room with us? Should we give this more lights? Right? Oh, that scared me. Huh? Is there anybody here who wants to talk to us?
So, any females are here? Because I know this is a girls' parlor. Women's parlor. Ladies' parlor. you guys know that we're trying to be respectful as possible. Not trying to not disrespecting the family. What are we talking about? What's up, gentlemen? You guys want to have a cigar? Party? But I don't know. This is like pretty like chill. Music. It's all play the piano. That's people upstairs. I know you guys like to party a lot, so. Yeah, I'm kind of freaking out to go upstairs, but I'm not doing something. Alright, talk to me.
Chill. Chill. I don't want to talk.
Alright, you guys like to party so much, and I'm not sure you guys, I knew you guys were you 18th century old. Scale for my dance from 1 to 10. No top. But this one's healthy, this one's healthy.
Anyway,
We're all trying to be your friends. We don't want to be, well, we're scared right now. This is our first time doing paranormal investigating, so give us some feedback. Show us a sign so we can also do this for a living. Matilda, where are you? Are you out here? What's this? You just want to know what Matilda looks like? This is what she looks like right here.
Francis.
Francis. Yeah, let's get this. Take it off.
So that is automatically on. No, the red thing. That is our. You're not supposed to touch it. Yeah.
Alright. Aiming spirits are right here. Come towards this little antenna right in front of me. Feel free to come. We're nervous. So feed off our energy. Please don't. I'm actually scared. Yeah, what's that? How many percentage?
20.
Also drop one downstairs. Alright, let's go to the over. Francis, Sorrel, this is your study hall. And you better get your homework.
What do we have down here? You should talk to him. What is this? Silly. So I don't do this. Sarah, are you here tonight? I'm glad I'm not crying. Should I sit on this couch? See if something happens. Are you scared? Huh? No? Do you guys get tired of people coming in here and trying to talk to you in the middle of the night? Or do you guys sleep? Do you enjoy getting to play with different people? Like, part of me wants to really is another part of me that is doesn't continue to happen at all. Because it's, I think it would be cool if you could make this light up in my hand. Well, how about you make it light up? Sure. Oh, okay. I'll say it's because I touched before. If you can make that light up, that would be really cool. Do you know what that word means? From the 1700s? I think it would be rather fully for you. What if that made them mad though? I don't want them to get mad at me. Are there any spirits here who would like to say anything? That wasn't anything, right? I just didn't want to see that one. The name of the one in the other room. Right? sitting on this couch? Is it because it's Monday? This is so weird. All everyone was sort of the same. Is it okay if we don't do the basement and just we don't do the basement? I was very afraid of this room, but it seems maybe I did not need to be. Not that I want you to scare me, I just want to know if there's anyone here that will also scare me, just the fact that you're here. No. So, I'm sorry to say that this light's still on. Have you given the battery yet? Huh? Don't. Maybe drop the battery. I'm not taking the battery out. No. Yeah. Huh? Can you make the flashlight in my hand turn off? Um. Let's try this one. So. Can you make that flashlight turn off? We're too scared to let you turn me off in the dark. Right. I like to have this little content and have
Yeah, guys, what our tour said, like, it's authentic paranormal investigating, so not anytime, not every day, things happen, things occur, just a little bit. And some things happen, sometimes don't, it's hit or miss. So, if something happens tonight, I'll be good for content. Yeah. 12:31, 39, we have like 6 o'clock to leave. I want exactly where did I come from? Is that just the oh, this is cool. How does it work?
Yeah, it goes up, if it goes to red real quick, and then it goes back down to green, then there's something you're fine.
Is there something?
know who this? Do you know that scientific that millipede? Bugs, seagulls. Actually, not really. I think it's cool. Mr. Sorrel, not a sound I enjoy. Why is the weed part of this? Does it have to do with marijuana?
Oh, I got nerves. You just started working? Yeah, I just started working. What were the exercises? I think that's my normal, probably like this. And she was like, my guy, dude, it was like 76%. Now it was like on 40 once I walked in. Did you? Yeah. Our battery is dead, so we're just gonna switch it out right now. We're still on the first floor. Tori said that we'll probably be switching every 25 minutes or 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes. Yeah, from what I heard, the tourists and what I'm experiencing right now, there's not much activity. And it's trying right there. I feel like there's a trap door or something. Down here, but no, it's not. It's just a little something like that. Oh, you have two of these? Yeah, we have two. You have a burning sensation in my eye. Really? Probably being light. I keep shining here on you a little bit. It's not bad. No, it's not bad. Like I feel the light, but like I feel like there's some hot sauce in my eye. Like it's burning. Right. That's would you like to sing for me? On the Ian earbuds, right? I'm speaking with? I feel like you got the wrong number. See, that's happening for something. You won't be here closer to the downstairs, you know?
Well, maybe.
So I can open the doors and stuff. Should we all just sleep in the living room tonight?
Oh. Why didn't you just throw it in the other switch? Yeah.
Oh, that's not crazy. There's Matilda. He's on the stairs. Anyone here to shout at me? Just on the right side. And that's all. He's down here. Show us the surroundings. You want to talk? He's got you guys. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Dude. Why does it work? Oh,
Everybody, it's time for the first rotation of the night. Those in the parlors, you're going downstairs to the lower level. Those in the lower level are going to the courtyard. And those in the carriage house, you're going to the installation and upstairs to the parlor room.
Moving. Oh, yeah, I see, like every time you walk. Whoa. I just said Shelby. Dude. I just said Shelby. Who's Shelby? Bro, I just want to see him. Look, look. Look at the wall. I wish you had a. No, I just don't know what. We're ready. We're set. Okay, bud. Alright, guys. Back on to this chair here. Legend says that. I feel like I one time over the wall. Careful for that corner. There's a corner right there. On my. The shadow man or anyone here? Just want to walk around? So, cool. What do you think? What do you think? That's it. I always respect everyone that lives here or whatever bad things happen to them. I respect the history. And I want to respect that history around this area. This we call. So don't be afraid to talk. I'm cool. My cameraman Aaron's cool. We're all cool, right?
I loved the piano. I always wanted my mom to sign me up for piano lessons. Unfortunately, I never did.
do not back. Can you say something in here for me, Matilda? Mistress Monroe? This is a beautiful house. I would love to have a party in here. I bet it was really nice. Always having food and good music. Yeah, none so tense in there, you know, also anybody. I don't think so. Yeah. Come on, good. Yeah, workers, yeah, you know, there's something involved with that. You go up to it and do that. Do the same thing. Try to yank it out. And down a little bit. Oh yeah, just go down a little bit. It's in there. See, it's red line in there. Look at the top. You see at the top of the door? That's the stairs down to the basement. Oh, yeah.
What about this one that we studied studying
I gotta go get my camera.
Where are we going? Oh, wait.
Hit this button.
Alright guys, we're in this scary basement shit. And this is probably the most haunted place in the whole house. Anyone wants to talk to us now. I don't have all day. Yo, anyone here? Please talk to us. You want to get scared?
Bro, I'm getting some creepy vibes. Over here.
Yeah, here. I think good people. I'm gonna sit on this couch. If I feel something, then I'll let you know. Here you go. Oh, let's both sit on the couch.
Huh?
Let's both sit on the couch.
This couch you can sit on, yeah.
Alright, come on, let's
Do
sit together.
you want me to record?
Yeah. Alright guys, we're both gonna sit on this couch because I heard that you won't be touched or feel like you've been touched or feel uneasy. Or just overall feel some negative energy around here. Bro, every time I play a video, every time I just start recording, it's not even going to pick up any audio. Sorry, done. Yeah, focus. Let me take a picture of this. Alright, let me put some dark stuff in there. Alright, anyone here talk to the spirit box? The lights off, so we don't scare you. Bro, you hear this? Yeah. Alright, so some cash. You understand with me?
I'm more film.
Okay. If I start jumping, then I'll just let you know I'm like uneasy. I'm playing that right now. I'm playing right now. Bro, what if this whole time I'm channeling the radio?
No. I did it right. I followed her instructions.
Alright, I'm having that uneasy feeling right now on my back.
Bro,
Yeah.
sure not. Okay.
Nah, not that, but that's how it's happening.
It is hot.
spirits will only sit on your couch. I guess I'll take that.
I'm really only getting at my kids are huge shadow man.
And if you didn't want to talk about in the closet, I didn't listen to walking in and she called on the walkie.
Right.
And then, because.
And it didn't happen right away when it was ringing. Like it rang a few times.
Right.
I thought it was radio on my phone.
I didn't trust him, I don't know what was broken. It was a sign, here, we're here to see you.
Yeah, when I saw over here, it could have just been my eyes adjusting to the light. There's light.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
Odds are high, but you know.
But I thought, let's go low.
Did you send something, say something? Just call them out. They said, no, and my kids explained it all, but you just.
We're safe to say.
Usually stuff happens when you're not expecting it to happen.
I was kind of scared of that carriage house too, the idea of slaves and stuff.
I know.
I know that girl knows someone. Just never said anything about it, okay?
Yeah.
Down on many of those, that's true. That's true. Especially when you're sitting at chapel.
You know, it's bad.
Oh, yeah. And they all slaves probably have children. Those are affected.
If you're here, let us know. Don't let us on our devices, they're not gonna hurt you. Just walk right up to it. Put your hand in front of it.
Mrs. Sorrel, do you want to sit at your desk? Do some work at your desk? Maybe we should turn the flashlight off. It's true. I think that was them doing it bad. That was too loud. Just slow it down. She can walk and talking and ask if anybody walking by the parlor. That was footsteps right there. Wasn't it? Yeah. We just heard footsteps in the hallway. Was anybody walking up here by the parlors? I'm not sure if that even worked. Nobody was.
Are you here? Come on over. We have some things that you can use to show us that you're here.
Well, it's okay.
Turn that flashlight on. Yeah.
We heard footsteps. We heard you. I might turn this off so we can hear those footsteps back. You know, okay. There were definite footsteps out by the steps. Don't you think?
See all. Holy shit, I might need to step outside for a breather.
Is Sarah, are you in here?
Yeah.
Did you guys find
Yeah, sorry. No, when you were up there, I mean, it was like feelings up there, but did you guys like have one window in the living room? Was it getting you weird?
Like weird big window
Yeah.
that was like
Like up at the top only, and it was like almost in the area where I was like, was someone
Oh,
These
my
neighbors
God.
like, yeah, the
Well,
whole
the chair side. We
Yeah.
were on the opposite side, and all of a sudden when the radio went off and the dogs picked up, the chair like.
Yeah, I feel like that was something, that whole weird thing, because that was weird.
Yeah.
It was all weird.
Very,
Yeah, we used to even go over there. Yeah. We
We
did raining.
used to be back here.
Yeah, we were afraid. We looked sounded like that chair was a chair.
No,
Yes, we tried. Yeah, it felt like weird stuff on our ankles. Yes, I did. Yeah.
you're in here for the middle.
Oh.
Like in the hallway, you'll hear them like. There's gotta be somebody there.
There it is.
If you're in there, you're there.
I can like feel this.
No, like, I wonder if we could ask them if there's like an actual. Could we ask them? We could. Yeah. We could ask them and see if there's like an actual caretaker. Yeah.
Now I get to something completely.
Thanks.
Sarah, you wanna play a game with us?
Yeah, Sarah, you in here? We've got this meter right here, it'll light up, or you can go sit in that chair. Light you
And you over here. Count to 5 and you can hide.
Oh, there's something.
What?
It's gotta be a reflection. Stop. I swear to you, there was a light like, that just moved along this ground right here. I don't know what that was. Here, you want, let's try to recreate it.
This right here.
Oh, yeah, you were sitting here, right?
I'm sitting right here.
Mhm. Let's see if we can recreate it. It was like a light.
And I was over here doing this.
Uh-huh. And I was like this. You have a light up in there? And it was like an invisible orb.
Oh, I just saw something.
What'd you see?
I saw something fly against the ground.
Against the ground over here?
Either a very, very fast snake or it's something.
Let's
It literally went.
What?
I'm just here for I bumped into something and thought it was something that touched me. And it was
No,
not.
it literally went across really quickly.
I'm in my own head now. I've gotten worked up.
I know, I need to.
Even that light, just seeing that, I got freaked out about that.
There
door
was,
closing.
I kid you not, there was a light on the ground here that moved.
No, that's what I saw over here.
Yeah.
It was like white and it's like went right across really fast.
Just take
I don't know what that was. It was no doubt in my mind, a light. I saw it with my eyes.
So are you playing tricks on us? Are you hiding behind the corner? Did I find you? If I found you, can you make this turn? Make it go green?
I kind of like having silence. to be honest with you.
Or make that go green?
Was it in a rocking chair?
Play a game, we'll do hide and seek. If we win, you set that off.
So I think you should stay over there. Here's the thing, if I get freaked, I'm going out into that courtyard.
I know. Don't call the people and set up all the alarm.
That's cool and scary. I'm assuming you can't communicate with something upstairs. Matilda Sorrel. Right here. She doesn't look very happy.
But she was listening. She was this sister. Sister died. The family gave her in.
That's what happened? She wasn't happy at all.
She
I wonder if he was a bad man. But he was raping a slave. Is that a dismissible thing back then because they were viewed as property? I don't approve.
Some reason I saw this that most slaves,
most
African Americans in the U.S. today, they are not 100%. They have Caucasian blood.
Benjamin Franklin had sex with his slaves.
Because they're not full African anymore. Most of the slave masters were children of them.
I thought that was real for a second, and I wouldn't have been surprised either. I want to hear that piano play. I am so glad we heard those footsteps because that was scary. Okay, you know what? Did we just walk quieter? Because as I'm up here, here, the scary part of the house to me. I think the upstairs is scary, probably.
This one. Maybe.
Yeah. Also, as I'm walking up here, I don't feel like it's as loud as it sounded down there. It's just not true. Should we sit on this rug? Maybe I'll
No, it was a sweet reverse.
Is there anybody in this room? Any lovely ladies wanting to talk about their husbands with me? An elegant young bachelor? I'm interested to know what the ladies discussed in this room. Also, how did your husband's not overhear you if you were secretly talking about? And if you were smoking and drinking, wouldn't they have smelled it? I just been wondering. We're not allowed to sit on this bench today. Right. I would like to sit on the couch.
It's hard to tell. You need to play on like headphones. Holy shit! This shit place gives me a lot of like creepy vibes.
Is that what Sandy looks like?
I don't know.
and we got furniture in the street. I'm walking over here, so like, there's gonna be a shadow over here. And now I run right back over to where you went. You made it over here. If you're here, you can walk up the street and it will light up. You want to version of the experience about who you live, who you work. You need a name beside the shadow. We're leaving this house in a few minutes. Like the experience, like the show or something. I'll get out the seat so you can take a seat there, shadow again. Come over. Your mission. Like, hey, two first. Maybe we should put it on the stairwell, or in between the stairwell. Yeah. That just left me like on the way. Oh, sorry. This flashlight is clutch for the stair climb basement. Should I just set this way? Yeah, see these, unless they're on the stairs, they wouldn't have, we wouldn't need this to solve. If they're actually on the stairs, walking around. Go sit on that chair. Yeah, we're just here to see you, to meet you. Do what you got to. It's your mission. There's one down there, right? You saw that one? Yeah.
He didn't hang out there. Don't be walking away. Don't be walking away. Go sit on that chair. You got a picture here right next to you. You want these on there? That's right now. Okay. Maybe we can set this one right here. We can look at both of them.
Sometimes I don't. Do you feel weird? Like this reminds me of the airport. The smell in here right now. Do you know what I mean? It smells like an airplane. Like I feel like I'm on like in the cabin of an airplane. It's like old seats in an airplane. Any, here it is again. Any footsteps again. It's from this side.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The first time it was like right here. Yeah. And now it's over here. What do you think it's doing? Like, is it just residual? Is it intelligent? Are you intelligent? Are you aware that you are here right now and that I'm speaking to you? Oh. Can you hear that?
Yeah, was that downstairs?
No, that's upstairs. I remember we hear them walking downstairs. With brick floors. Like, it literally sounds like you can even hear the floorboards creaking. That's footsteps. Is that right? What is that? Are you in this room with you right now? Are you making the footsteps?
information too. Can you see start of both hearings?
So you want to mess with her and take some over yours? Let's not do that. They're really pretty, add them to your collection.
No emeralds.
Yeah, I wonder where all of them just wind up to.
Right?
Like if there's like a stash somewhere.
Maybe that's what got thrown behind you. Maybe that's what got thrown behind you or something. Oh, remember that at the bench?
Big ball of earrings.
Yeah. An earring.
Earrings. I thought one of those kids were messing around to toss and stuff.
It was definitely that one. No, because even the other guy that was sitting there next to you, kind of on the bench, he was looking around like, but
I had a bug run into my on my shoulder. I sat down before I got there. It just ran up and like hit my shoulder. I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing with the bugs.
If you're here, go sit in that chair in the corner there. Sarah.
make a noise for us.
Are you gonna plan for school? You still in school?
We gotta tell them about that and let you know.
I don't know what that was. We did try to recreate it and we couldn't.
It's too skinny to be like a copper frame like that.
Yeah. This was mine was like more round.
But did you have yours like up on like the sky or did you reach on the floor?
It was on the floor. We're kind of enjoying hearing these guys upstairs. Should set this down.
Although this is the first paranormal thing I've legally gone to.
Oh, really? Have you done other stuff?
Sarah, why don't you roll this around like that?
We're upstairs. It's scary. What? Nothing. Just the walking upstairs scared me.
No, I found like abandoned psych wards and
Oh, really?
prisons and stuff like that.
Did you have anything happen?
Psych ward was when I realized it was a psych ward, and I felt every emotion take on me.
Oh.
And then the jails, the parts of jails.
That's scary.
My friend didn't carry me out psych ward and be like, you're about to be winding up in an actual one.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt that in my hand, but
We had some haunted hotels before.
Most places that are haunted, you can't legally go into private property.
Right.
So you basically trespass to go there. I mean, that's actually where most of the ghost hunter places are.
Yeah.
They don't get approval to do it.
Yeah, that's why we try to like book several like haunted hotels and get some kind of stuff. Promise to never.
yeah. When we were kids, we saw those.
I grew up with ghosts.
That's why you're fascinated by it.
Yeah, well, I used to be able to see the prior owner of the house when I was a kid.
Really?
And have conversations with him. Like my mom made videos of me having conversations with my voicemail.
Really?
Hey everyone, it is time to wrap it up for the night. We're going to meet back in the bottom level of the carriage house where we began.
Get the shortest one. They
And you guys have card?
I can pay in cash. Or do you only accept cards?
Yeah, card, because it's after midnight, so.
Yeah, these didn't really work too well for us.
Yeah,
It was mainly just this.
so one water or two?
One. You know any?
Okay, 214. It's kind of weird. You like that?
Oh.
No, thank you. No, you're good.
Yeah, there must be somebody up there, right?
Yeah,
There's gotta be somebody up there.
Are you sure there's no one upstairs in the
Yeah, so we do have a caretaker on site occasionally. So it could be that maybe he got up to use the restroom or something. I can tell you that he's a big guy, so when he steps, he's heavy footed. So you're hearing heels, not him, but he is a heavy footed walker.
Louder.
He stays here?
So occasionally, yeah, he's here time to time. Okay, so guys, if you haven't already, you can certainly sit your feet down. We're missing who? Nobody. Nobody.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's like in my head there was room. Alright, so I kind of just want to hear from everybody and see what happened, if anything. I know that we did have a little bit of activity. 2, 4, 6, 7, and 4. Okay, we got everything. So how about you guys? Do you guys want to go first? What kind of stood out to you?
So this part of the building, we heard crying from the bottom floor.
Really?
Yeah, and then as we walked up, I think.
Yeah, I was talking to Sam. I was like, yo, Samuel, and then on the EP, he was like, what? I was like, yeah, that's, and he was freaking out because he didn't want to be in the room. So I was like, okay, I'll just walk outside with him. And the crying, I heard the crying too. It's toys.
Was it a small child, do you think, or an adult?
It's like a weeping woman. It's like the movie La Llorona. The thing is, it's not like a ghost or an EVP. It felt like there's an actual person there.
Yeah, I felt
Really?
Yeah. It was that clear.
That's when I went
And that makes sense too, because when you're walking down the street or something, you can tell sometimes, you can feel that somebody's right there next to you or beside you, and you know. So that does make sense to me. So you said you heard the crying. Were you recording, or was that through the spirit box? No, Samuel was through the spirit box. You said, and then the crying. Were you recording at that time at all?
I feel he was here, and I walked
he walked
past
over
the
there.
doorway, and I heard it
Yeah.
crying, and I went back over here.
And then what about the parlors? Anything for you there?
Not really. We did hear footsteps, but that could be anything.
I heard music through the
Through the little radio thing?
Yeah.
Were you scanning the frequencies?
Yeah, I was scanning it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it go past one of them?
We didn't really.
We went all the way to
pay
3
attention.
and on the third light. That's it.
Oh, on the K2?
Yeah.
That was kind of lighting up for you? And what were you asking somebody anything then, or?
I just basically asking the guys to give me a cigar and then
That's so funny. No, it's so funny to me because I have seen the K2s go off most on this property in the parlors, in the men's parlor, when men are talking about the parties, drinks, cigars, things like that. So that's so funny that you said that. It does make sense to me for sure. Super. What about for you guys? What stood out to you? You said you had some feelings up here, and I was wondering what you had considering their experience.
sadness?
Yeah.
Also, it felt better, and sadness was being
In Molly's room felt sad but safer.
Yes.
Interesting.
I didn't want to be in the other.
Yeah, we mostly just stayed in Molly's room all the time. So we come out to up here upstairs and it didn't feel safe to her.
Interesting, yeah. Okay, yeah, and we have had a lot of people say that about Molly's room, and yeah, it's a sad thing that happened, but people describe it differently, where it's overwhelming a little bit, it feels a little different than just walking in the courtyard. Yeah, so what about in the lower level? Anything there?
Just kind of feelings of anxiety.
Yeah.
We didn't even go over where the chair was, this shadow man.
We have mediums and sensitive visit the property who do the same. They refuse to go in that back breezeway at all. Yeah, and I would totally respect that. I think if you're uncomfortable in an area, don't go in it. Yeah, I totally agree. What about the parlor rooms for you?
Yeah, unless it was.
So that was from upstairs.
Yes, definitely upstairs.
Okay, but nothing in the foyer area.
No, in the men's parlor, we kept feeling there's something.
Oh yeah, I definitely kept that, and I didn't want to. I preferred going through the women's to get into the men's.
Okay.
Both times, didn't want to go in through that other door, the main entrance door.
You said you felt like somebody was behind you in the men's parlor?
Yeah.
Where were you facing in the
The
midst?
mirror, facing
Yeah.
the mirror, and there's people behind us.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like close to the couch you were standing. Yeah, I felt someone touch my back.
Yeah?
I
Yeah.
felt, and I felt something upstairs. I think I felt ankle things.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah?
A couple times it was like weird, but it was not. It was like when I was leaving to go to the laundry room. Or I was
Leaving,
in the laundry room when I felt it. The linen room.
going to the, what, surgery?
Surgery.
Yeah?
Coming out from surgery into it. I
Okay.
felt it in the room too.
I wonder if they were like telling you to stay in there or something.
I definitely mostly stayed in the surgery.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What about this team over here? What stood out to you guys?
We initially, since we were upstairs in the carriage house, when they started calling the walkies,
Oh yeah, that's it.
we had our 1K2 meter go off, and then I looked to my left, and all the way on the other side of the room, that one of those things went off as well. And my K2 meter that I was holding did not go off. So we were trying to decide, was it the radio?
But we were pretty far away from
We were
that
far away
device.
from
And only one out of two of the K2 meters went off. We were sitting by the bunk beds. We had one K2 on the top tier of one of the bunk beds. And we were sitting like all the way on the bunk bed side, closest to the stairwell. And all of a sudden the pod in Molly's room goes off. The K2 goes off on top bunk bed. But the K2 that was with her did not go off. Everything else
It happened
started
immediately.
Yeah.
And then things got real
The second it
quiet.
started beeping, everything went off, and then all of a sudden we didn't hear anything for like a while after that. It's like all that excitement kind of like made them just like stop.
Yeah. Maybe it like overwhelmed them.
Yeah,
We panicked a little.
we panicked
And we felt like-
everything went off.
We felt like maybe that Sam, the good ghost upstairs, we felt like
The good
maybe
ghost
he was
upstairs.
like, oh, they're freaked. Like, let me just calm down, you know?
That does, yeah, that does make sense. I do think that spirits are aware of that, and if you go in and you're fearful, they're like, oh, let me leave this person alone. I'm scaring them or anything. But yeah, the walkie-talkies, like we were talking about earlier, they do make it go off. It's interesting that you're saying you weren't like right up next to it or anything. And then for the bunk bed, I have had people who communicate with Sam using the K2, and they always tell me it's the top bunk, and they get flashlight activity with him up there too sometimes. So that kind of is interesting.
We had the pod all the way where that chair is.
It was at least that far away from the walkie.
So it's like, I don't think it was that far.
Yeah.
Not just that off that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And then I
Um,
had my shirt messed with upstairs. Yeah.
Up here?
Oh, that's right, huh?
yeah, were you
Like,
talking to
I was
anybody, or-
just sitting there, we were just talking, like Sam and them, and it was like, we were sitting on the ground, so it's like a little level, and like my shirt went from just sitting like this, like being pushed up against my arm.
Ooh.
So like, okay.
It's okay. What about in the lower level? What do you think for you there?
I saw what I think was some sort of an orb along the ground, leaving the surgery room. And we tried to recreate it, so because I thought maybe the flashlight moved and hit some sort of reflection. So we
I
had
was on you during that time, and
Yeah.
I didn't see anything on the camera.
nothing, huh?
Oh,
No.
that's even.
Yeah, that's even weirder.
Yeah.
That is weird. So we had her sit back down and kind of move the flashlight around. Let's see if we can get a reflection. That's the same. And then
It was
she
very
saw
strange.
something
I
similar
saw
right
one,
afterwards.
It looked like something like reflective with the light. Just go really quickly from the linen to not even into the surgery room, to the wall. Like it literally went straight to the wall, and I went around the corner, see something was there, and there was nothing there. Like I thought maybe
And
it
that
was
was
a
less
bug or
than a
whatever.
minute
but,
after her.
It was similar.
Yeah, the orb that I saw too was moving along the ground.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
first thought was like, I know that there's like a hole, like a tiny hole in the parlor room somewhere in the floor. So my first thought was, okay, somebody's up there shining a flashlight,
Maybe.
and that's what you saw. But if she said she didn't even see it in the camera, then it couldn't have been that, because you would have seen that.
Right. Because it was there. I mean, it was clear as day. I mean,
Yeah.
it could have been a reflection.
I think you're thinking
I
of a
couldn't
different
recreate
area.
it.
That where she saw the orb, there's not.
That's not where it's at?
No.
Okay, I
What
wasn't
about
sure.
from the linen to the wall, like for surgery? Is there a hole in the floor
There is there,
Okay.
but we've also had reports of a light on the ground snaking.
That's what
it
you
was.
saw.
I thought it was a snake or something. I was like, it's moving really quickly, like
Yeah.
a snake just darting into the wall.
Was it a certain color, or was it
It was
just?
like silvery reflective, like bright.
Sometimes it's either like silvery or like green or blue.
Yep.
We've gotten to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which made us think it wasn't a flashlight too, because it's like, it's not green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What about the parlors? Anything there?
So footsteps.
Yeah.
I thought I saw a shadow by the desk in the men's parlor, but it could have just been my eyes adjusting to the light. I don't know. It looked like it didn't have features. It just looked like a shadowy thing, like moved like this in front of the
Super
desk.
cool. We have a medium that visits the property every now and then. She does the all-night investigations too, and she tells us there's a man that hangs out there by that desk.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might have been something then. I don't know.
Huh.
It was so quick that it was hard to. I mentioned it to them because I was like, well, she said if I see something to
Yeah.
mention it, but normally I
There
probably
you
would.
go, yeah. But you're at the crazy house. You're alone.
Right. Exactly.
When I like sat, I don't know, about the chair in the entryway, like I sat on that chair and also like my chest was hurting. I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Like
right.
the pressure.
yeah,
The
like,
pressure on your
it
chest
was,
is a
like,
very common experience
tight, yeah.
across the board anywhere.
yeah, it was like I was sitting there like in the hallway and then like all of a sudden it just felt like it was tightening. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard the chair or something moved down there as well.
Yeah, we heard that too.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right. That's what you said. We didn't hear that.
yeah, we heard it. I was like, I was pretty freaked out. Yeah.
Yeah, on the way there, me and him were walking to a chair, and I heard like a guy just like move back to the wall. I was like,
I've heard that before, like that on the
Yeah.
floor. I have heard that.
yeah, I told him,
It's
I was like, yeah, do I want to go there?
It's like Shadow Man kind of moving out of the way. You know, like really
Anything else anybody wants to mention? No?
You said like when someone died out there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, after we got scared in this house, we started walking outside. I was taking like pictures of the the windows, and like once I like looked out, and I thought you were right behind him, and I saw like a figure, like it was like right here, and it just disappeared afterwards.
Oh my gosh.
Down here in the courtyard?
Yeah, I was dropping the camera. I started freaking out.
Oh my gosh. No, I was outside the gate when you
Yeah.
guys were there.
I was like, why are you scaring us? Like, why are you
I was like, what happened? Why are you like so freaked out?
Yeah.
He told me. I was like,
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
weird.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
You recording?
in Molly's remarks.
No, I was actually taking a picture of the window, and I just
Oh.
put the camera down, and I just looked at him.
RK2 kept going off on the rafters in Molly's room.
Yeah?
There by the window. By the window.
Yeah.
That's
And
a
you,
normal thing.
were you getting a baseline reading on
It
that?
was, it did, and then it would go to orange. It would go to orange, but then it went down, and then it sort of moved. But not really. It was mostly by the window, but also would go to the edge back.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like
There,
it was norm. I feel like it might have been.
that may be, yeah, because we do have, or not we, but the city has like electrical stuff out here. So I don't know if that would have interfered. But if you had that baseline reading and you were watching that, then like, do you think it was like intelligently responding, or maybe just kind of like
It was just hanging out.
more like constant?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, maybe that was due to that. I don't know. Did everybody have a good time though?
Yeah.
Yeah? Super. So I do want to offer you all one of these on your way out. You can just kind of stay in touch with us a little bit. It's got all the social media. So Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We try to post stuff constantly. We'll post everything from live photos, footage from tours, to the tour guides talking about what happened on their tours for specific nights. So check all that out. YouTube is where you can find your live stream link from tonight. It's posted up with the date. It's posted now. You can watch it now. You can watch it 2 months from now. You can share it, whatever you need to do. So that's all up there for you. The email is also listed. If you recorded anything, audio, pictures, whatever you got, if you want to share anything with us, we love just going through it and, we'll share with all our coworkers and everything. You can send that in. If you want a second opinion on it, we can offer our own opinions on your photos as well. Just ask for it in the email. Also on here is listed our TripAdvisor page. If you'd like to share your positive experience on our TripAdvisor page, it helps us out because it tells more people about this event, which I personally think is really unique and I'm very proud to be a part of. So it tells more people about us, and it gets more people interested in us, and that's really cool for us because when you purchased your ticket tonight, you supported the historic preservation of this property. We are nonprofit, so our ticket sales go to upkeeping the property and getting it back to how it was and keeping it that way. So I thank each and every one of you for that, no matter what, definitely. But come back sometime, folks. We have history tours in the day, ghost tours at night. We do this event weekly. We do all-nighters once a month, twice in the summer. Our next one's coming up June 7th. I'm gonna leave these cards here. You're certainly welcome to them. I'm gonna step outside to open the gate. If anybody's like a water or shirt or anything, Devin is accepting credit cards. So I'll be right up here. Can you cut the live stream? Okay,
Let's leave that card, right?
yeah.
Want a picture or anything?
Do you guys mind if I go cut off the live stream really quick?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I might get a piece for tomorrow.